If you want to test your calcium hardness, but you don't have a photometer that will do calcium hardness, you can do it with the shaker bottle method. And what you need is a 50 ml. Well, you can use 50 ml or you can use 100 ml. It's just that I've found that you usually need quite a few calcium hardness tablets to get a color change. You'll see what I mean as I go through it. Basically, what you're doing is you're getting a 50 ml sample and you're putting in a calcium hardness tablet. Now, these calcium hardness tablets are for the shaker bottle method. So when you're ordering, if you're using the shaker bottle method for testing your calcium hardness, you'll need to make sure that you make it clear to your suppliers when you're ordering tablets that you are using the shaker bottle method, because the tablets that you use for a photometer to test for calcium hardness are completely different. So what you do, put a tablet in there and then give the bottle a shake and see what colour it goes. So it'll go pink to start off with. Now the idea is to keep adding tablet after tablet until you get a colour change. It'll go, all of a sudden it'll change from a pink colour to a sort of a violet colour. And what you don't want to do is tap out directly into the sample, because you'll end up, a few will come out and you won't be able to, you'll lose count of how many actually came out. So tap them out into the cap and then transfer from there into the actual sample. Don't touch the tablets with your fingers because you will affect the end result. So that's 2 tablets that have gone in there now, and it's still staying that pink colour. So we continue. This will be tablet number 3 going in now. And it's still staying pink. So tablet number 4, obviously you could use a 100 ml sample, but you'd have to use twice as many tablets and the test will take twice as long. This is tablet number 4 going in, and I think this will be the one that brings about the colour change. Yeah, there we go. There's a definite change of colour from a pink coloration to that violet colour, and that took four tablets. Would have taken 8 if we'd have used a 100 ml sample. But so the idea now is to use a formula to arrive at the actual calcium hardness value. The formula to use is, if you're using a 50 ml sample, it's the number of tablets, which was in this case was 4, and then multiply that by 40 and then minus 20. If you were using a 100 ml sample, you would multiply the number of tablets that you use by 20 and then you'd minus 10. But in this case, we've used only 50 ml. So number of tablets multiplied by 40. So we used 4. So that's going to be 160. Then minus 20, which would be then 140. So our calcium hardness level is 140 parts per million. And what you're aiming for is to keep your calcium hardness somewhere between 80 and 200. And this is very heavily influenced by the area of the country you're living in and what the characteristics and the properties of the water are that you're supplied with. So in hard water areas of the country, it's likely that you're going to get a higher calcium hardness content. In soft water areas of the country, it's likely that you're going to have a softer water, softer calcium hardness content. It also influences the type of disinfectant that's used. So for example, if there was a pool in a hard water area of the country, they wouldn't really be advised to use calcium hypochlorite as their disinfectant, because they'd be putting a calcium rich disinfectant on top of or into water that's already fairly calcium rich, where they'd be better off using sodium hypochlorite. and it works the other way as well. If there's a pool in a soft water area of the country, they wouldn't really be advised to use sodium hypochlorite because their water is very soft anyway, and it's there's a risk of that water then taking the calcium that it needs from the materials and the surfaces it comes into contact with, and that can cause the things like tile grout to be etched away by the very sort of aggressive nature of the water, because it's very hungry for calcium. So they'd be advised to use in a soft water area of the country, they would be advised to use calcium hypochlorite, because they would be supplying that water with calcium every time that they dose in their disinfectant. If your calcium hardness is too high and you want to bring it down, then the best way to do that is via dilution. If the calcium hardness is too low and you want to increase it, then the best chemical to use there is something called calcium chloride, and that should be dosed in at 1.5 kilograms per 50 cubic meter of pool volume, and that will boost the calcium hardness content by 20 parts per million.